Hey, Lexi!
Hey Cameron. Hey, where did you go off to without telling me? I've said before that I want you telling me what you're doing when it gets late out.
I'm sorry. On my way home from work, my mom called me asking for me to come over and plan out a vacation with her.
A vacation?
Turns out that I'll be going with my mom to Hawaii for New Year's as a small trip.
Are you serious?
We plan to only be there for a week or so. So you don't have to get too surprised by this one. At first, it was going to be my mom and dad going to Hawaii together for that week. But now that dad's bedridden from his sickness, she's asked for me to go with her instead.
Wait! Why would you guys still plan to go to Hawaii with everything else going on?
What do you mean? Lots of people go on vacation during the New Year's, right? You think we're just joking?
You guys are still planning to go on that trip that your dad was supposed to go on? While he's in the hospital, unresponsive because of his condition? At that point, people would normally just cancel the trip and stay home around their family.
But if we were to cancel this whole vacation now, we'd be left having to pay a boatload in cancellation fees to all the hotels and restaurants. So, instead of having to deal with that, I think it's better that I go in Dad's place, and then we won't need to worry about money, right?
But if you've started to think about the condition that your dad is in, you shouldn't have the mindset to go to Hawaii, right?
You think so? I never thought I had to dwell on the thought of my dad being in the hospital that much. My dad won't even know we're gone because he's not even well enough to be awake. And he won't be for a long time, the doctor said. So there's really no point in us being home to go see him if he's not even going to be awake to say anything. I think now's the perfect time that my mom and I go out and do what we want since we don't have to be held down by him.
This isn't about seeing him all the time, but the fact that you should be worried about him more than some trip to Hawaii. If I were you or your mom, I wouldn't care about having to pay a little or canceling and would stay here to be with my dad.
Well, it doesn't matter what you do, because you're not even coming with us.
You both really plan on going still. I have no idea how you have the nerve to do that right now.
Oh, come on, Lexi. This is one of the things that always drives me up the wall with you. How you always act like you're so right about everything.
Uh-huh.
No matter how you try and make me feel bad about my choice, I'm going to Hawaii. Tonight I'll be home to get my things together. And then I'm heading back to my parents' place to stay until the trip. Don't even try stopping me anymore.
Wait.
No!
What the heck, Cameron?
Alright, I'm getting on the plane right now.
So you both really are leaving?
It's my job as my mom's son to be here for her when she wants to go out and do something.
That's weird though, considering her husband is in the hospital in really bad shape right now. I wonder what's going on inside her head right now.
You're starting to get on my nerves here, Lexi.
I'm just going to tell you this one last thing then. If your dad does end up waking up during the time that you're both away, I'm going to have to tell him everything that's going on with his wife and his son, okay?
Go right ahead. I know for a fact he's not waking up while we're gone. Well, even if he does wake up, he'll at least have you there to care for him. And make sure you don't wander off, leaving him without any family, alright? So, with that, I'll be back in a week.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens then.
Lexi, Happy New Year!
Wait, David, Happy New Year! How has your body been doing after being asleep for so long?
Well, I'm still working out a lot of the kinks, but I have to say that all the hospital food actually tastes pretty good after not eating for so long. And I'm really looking forward to getting even better.
That's so amazing to hear.
By the way, something tells me that both Cameron and Lucy ended up still going to Hawaii then?
Yeah. Cameron ended up taking your place and going with your wife. They left yesterday.
I see.
I'm sorry that I couldn't stop them. I told them over and over again not to go while you were in the hospital, but they never listened to me. They never even bothered to come see you in the hospital after you were taken in by the ambulance.
That's alright, Lexi. I was the one that told my wife not to push herself to come see me if I ended up slipping into a coma. So she had every right to have gone away for a bit expecting that I wasn't going to wake up. I'm sure she just remembered that I said that, and so she didn't mean any harm by leaving to Hawaii still with Cameron.
Then I suppose that I wasn't going to change their minds after all.
Well, even if I hadn't said that to her, I doubt she would have stayed. I remember after being helped from the car accident by your family and you, that my wife had already been pretty reluctant to come see me because me being so badly hurt and sick would ruin the trip. Of course, a small part of me wanted to tell her to stay by my side as I was in the hospital, but she was very excited for the trip, and so I never had it in me to change her either.
David.
I'm sorry that I've told you all this, but I thought it'd be best that you knew what was going on.
Thank you.
But there is a reason for them wanting to be away on this trip. And I think you should be ready to understand what I mean by that.
I see. Well, for the time being, I will prepare myself for what's next and to help you.
Thank you, Lexi.
Lexi? Tomorrow my mom and I will be coming back, so can you come get us from the airport?
Uh-huh. You want me to come all the way there? Don't you realize that the airport is a couple hours away from our place? Why not just take the bus back to our place from there, or at least get an Uber or something to go home in?
Well, we have a lot of things with us. You're my wife, so you have to listen to everything my mom and I ask for.
Well, before we continue with this, your dad woke up.
Really?
When I was going to go and see him, he had woken up and started talking to me.
Are you serious about that?
He says that he has enough energy to text you guys, so I'll let him handle this.
He can't really be awake already, right? You're lying, right?
Cam.
Hi, Dad.
Did you have a good time in Hawaii?
I
I know that you went there in my place, right?
Right. Well, we went to all sorts of beaches and stayed at a few really nice resorts. Even went out and tried surfing for the first time in my life.
I see. I'm sure it was a great time, leaving your dad who was in a coma behind, so that you could go out to Hawaii, huh? You both are coming home tomorrow, I hear? I'd make sure that you enjoy whatever time you have left there before having to come back and see me, okay?
Hey, Dad.
Well, I guess I should get things started then.
What are you going to get started? I'm sure you're just really happy to see us again, right? Maybe there'll be some sort of surprise for us when we get home, right?
Just make sure to let your mom know that she needs to be prepared for what comes next.
Dad? Maybe you're less happy and more mad then? Hey, Lexi. What is this? Why is there a divorce form?
So you've made it back home now? Hope you made it back okay.
But what is going on with this divorce form laying on the counter?
Well, about you, Cameron. You were in Hawaii with another woman, correct?
Why do you say that?
Well, your dad started to look into your mom about her cheating, and lo and behold, you ended up being with another woman as well. And then once your dad found out about that, he told me.
What? So you know about Mom as well, then?
That's right, we both do. We both figured that you guys really continued with that trip, not because you didn't want to pay any cancellation fees, but because you both were going to have an affair, correct? I hope you both had fun at least.
No, hold up. If you really think about this, things don't seem to add up, right? Do you really think my dad could have done all of that when he was in a coma for so long?
Well, he told me that he's been looking into your mom for over half a year now. That's before he ever got into that accident, Cameron. And your dad has actually been awake for a month now. Did you know that?
What?
Of course not. Because neither you or your mom ever came to see him. When I started going to the hospital to help care for him, he opened his eyes.
What? You hid that from both my mom and I?
Well, when he asked me where the two of you were, I told him that they didn't plan to come see you. And so he told me everything and asked that I keep my mouth shut about it.
Why, though?
Well, your dad was a little upset about the fact that neither of you two wanted to be around him when he was in his time of need.
But why would he never tell us that he was at least awake?
Cameron, your dad knows that you aren't actually his son.
What?
I never really knew that you weren't your dad's real son. And David didn't really know either until he started looking deeper into things. But now he knows that the man that your mom went to see in Hawaii is actually your real dad. So really, this whole trip was going to be both your real parents, you, and then that woman you wanted to cheat on me with, correct? I'm not sure why I say that like it didn't end up happening, because you guys did see them and enjoy your time in Hawaii with them.
You know all about that now. Dang it.
I'm sure that your mom will soon be finding the divorce paperwork that I've placed in her living room for her to find.
Huh?
Your dad asked me to help him place it there while he stayed in his hospital bed.
Are you kidding me?
Ah, that's right. David has gone ahead and changed to a new hospital, so if either of you try to come and talk to him, you'll find that you're both too late.
Where did he go to, Lexi?
Well, I'm not sure about where myself.
Why don't you know? Out of all the things that he decided to tell you about, he never mentioned the next hospital he'd be going to?
Well, he realized once you both came back from Hawaii, he wouldn't want anything to do with you guys. The last time I spoke with him was yesterday. And then after that, we decided not to talk to one another anymore. So I haven't heard anything else from him since. And in the case of David, he doesn't know where I am currently either. I think if you want to find anything else about David's whereabouts, perhaps you'll have some luck talking to his lawyer when he starts talking with your mom about all of this.
He even got a lawyer involved in this?
Well, why the heck wouldn't he be, Cameron? As a matter of fact, I'm also going to be getting a lawyer soon. So when that happens, you'll be hearing from them instead of me, okay?
You're getting one as well?
There's some information and a few business cards with those divorce papers you found, right? Those will be the lawyers I plan to get involved with to help me see all this through.
Hey, can we at least talk this over a bit more in person? You've been married for 3 years now, so you have to have the heart to want to talk things through, right?
We've been married for 3 years, yet you choose to cheat on me. What made you think that was an okay thing to do when you should have the heart to talk to me? And also, even though he was never your father and never knew that, he raised you all the way to the point you're at now, and learned recently that you aren't his, and his wife has been cheating on him all this time. Imagine being in his shoes, and having to feel all the emotions he's having now, just trying to deal with all of this, especially after an accident that left him in a coma. Honestly, I might have stayed to talk things through with you over cheating on me. What really pissed me off was you just leaving your dad in the hospital while he was dealing with all of this to go to Hawaii with your cheating mom. So me leaving you is justified, right?
But, Lexi...
Don't say my name anymore, okay? I've got to get going now.
Huh?
Make sure that I get all of the money I asked for in the settlement, okay? Please and thank you.
What? I still really do think of you as my real father. And what happened with me and going to Hawaii and while I was there,
Perfect timing. I want you to tell this to your mom from me as well. I'm not going to change my mind about the divorce. And as for me and you, Cam, I'm planning on cutting all ties I have to you.
What?
And right now, I'm getting myself a new phone and a new number. So neither you or your mom will ever be able to find me or contact me ever again. Then, once you're never able to talk with me or see me again, you'll have to go through my lawyer, who is looking forward to talking with you both.
But, Dad...
I need to get back to getting my new phone now.
Dad, please!
To start, David had a long talk with his lawyer about how he wanted both his wife and his son to be taken out of his will, as well as for both of them to get nothing from him in the divorce. When this was brought up to both Cameron and Lucy, neither of them wanted to agree to what David was asking, and tried begging for him to rethink what he had planned to do to them. Of course he didn't budge, and so Lucy signed the document first, followed by Cameron doing the same with huge reluctance. And then, instead of taking any settlement from Cameron and Lucy, he only asked that Cameron's real dad pay him. In my case, I went and had a settlement made for both Cameron and the woman that he cheated on me with. Once they had both paid the money that I had asked for, they were left with the realization that I just took $15,000 from the both of them, and that things were going to become much harder. Cameron ended up leaving his job due to all the stress, and returned back to his mom and real dad with his new girlfriend, where they all started to live together with very little money to their name. Now, the only person that seems to be working any sort of job is the real father, and he is left with himself and 3 people that he'll have to start trying to care for.
Christy, are you there? Did the wedding invite arrive yet? You didn't get back to me on whether you'd be coming or not, so I had no choice but to message you. Huh? What the... Listen to me, Mel. I already made it perfectly clear I had no intention of coming from the get-go, didn't I? Why would you go out of your way to send an invite when you already knew what the answer was? Wow, what am I even reading? This is your own brother's wedding we're talking about here. Of course you're coming. What about your duty to your family? What with the both of your parents having passed away, you'd be the only member of Kyle's family there. Are you really going to let him be all on his own like this? Don't you feel bad for your little brother? I don't need to be lectured about not coming to the wedding by the person who made me want to not come to the wedding in the first place. Besides, Kyle won't be on his own. He'll have you, your family, and his friends there with him. Huh? How did I make you not want to come to the wedding? What are you even talking about? Did you really think I didn't know? Oh, I know what this is about. Being a high school dropout really bothers you, doesn't it, Kirsty? Huh? It's fine, babe. You don't need to worry about that. It's a triviality. Anyway, we don't need you to have brains. Me and Kyle graduated university with flying colors after all. So we've got the intellect and achievement bases covered. Most of my family graduated university too. I totally get why you might feel ashamed and embarrassed about being a high school dropout. But honestly, you don't need to. We're not judging you for it, I promise. We're open-minded and accept people from all walks of life and backgrounds. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that settles it. I'll put you down on the attending list. You can put me on whatever list you like. The bottom line is I'm not coming, and that's final. Yeah, whatever. Quit fooling me around already, Kirsty. You're obviously going to be there to support your little brother. Wow, you seriously don't get it, do you? Have you even realized why I don't want to come in the first place, or did it go straight over your head? Or are you doing this on purpose to tick me off? Yeah, whatever. Ugh, would you quit being so immature already? Anyway, you can say whatever you like. I'm not coming, and that's that. I amaze myself with how clever I am sometimes. It's no surprise I graduated university with brains like these. What are you talking about? I successfully switched jobs to something with better prospects and better pay. You switched jobs? Let's just say some things happened at my old job and I had to quit. I knew me and Kyle would be moving to a different town after the wedding anyways. So I figured I'd use me leaving the old place to find something more local with a more convenient commute. And guess what? A major global company just made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I'm the best. I doubt a high school dropout like you could ever accomplish anything like this. Wow, really? You actually got an offer that fast? You have no idea how hectic it was to find time to fit the interview in with the preparations for the wedding. I felt like I was barely getting time to eat, but boy, am I glad I went. I take it you changed your plans to become a full-time stay-at-home housewife then. Huh? I heard about you bragging to everyone about how you were going to quit your job when you got married because my brother Kyle's filthy rich due to being a top executive at one of America's most prestigious donut companies. That was... Oh, it's fine, Mel. You don't have to try and hide it or make excuses. I already know the reason. Huh? Anyway, I need to head back to work now, so... yeah, bye. I'm not sure I like your tone, Kirsty. This isn't over. Oh, and before I go, I know you can be slow and forgetful what with being a high school dropout and all, so allow me to remind you one more time. You're absolutely, positively, definitely, incontrovertibly, without a shadow of a doubt, coming to our wedding next month. And don't you forget it. It's going to be a blast, and we wouldn't dream of celebrating without you there to share in our joy. Sis? Hello? The wedding's about to start, you know. Hurry up and get your ass down here. What are you talking about? Like I need to spell it out. Mine and Kyle's wedding is about to start, doofus. Oh, was that today? What? Of course it's today, and you know it. Quit playing dumb. I know you left the house wearing your best clothes this morning, so don't even try to hide it. That reminds me, I heard you moved into one of those apartments that was for sale in my neighborhood. I'm guessing that's how you appear to have been tracking my whereabouts. Jeez, you know, Mel, I was hoping you'd move as far away from me as humanly possible so I'd never have to deal with you again. But you had to go and move in practically next door to me, huh? Hey, wait a sec. No way. Did you get the wedding venue wrong? Huh? The wedding venue. Do you actually know where it is? We're doing it with a company called Matrimonial Magic Makers at their main wedding hall on 5th Street. Matrimonial Magic Makers? Oh, wow, I see. I'm guessing from your response. I knew it. Did you mix up the venue for your own brother's wedding? I guess it can't be helped. I should have written the invite in crayon so even a high school dropout like you could understand it. I'm pretty sure I already made this clear, but I had no intention of coming to the wedding to begin with. So there was no need for me to check where it was being held. Huh? I never planned on coming, so why would I waste my time? Waste your time? Mine and your brother's wedding is not a waste of time. I didn't bother to look at the date either. I'm at work today and I have a bunch of meetings with several important clients. That's the only reason I'm dressed especially smartly. Gotta make sure I leave a good impression, you know? Oh my God, are you serious? Hang on a sec, were you trying to pull a trick on me by intentionally writing the wrong wedding venue on my invite so I'd show up at the wrong place? You wouldn't do something so childish, would you, Mel? No way! I hit the nail on the head, huh? But now that I think about it, if you're getting married today, I take it you'll be absent from the new employee training session today then? Ooh, what the hell? Today was supposed to be your first day at your new job, wasn't it? We generally train up new employees for the week before they officially start. But since you got hired outside of our usual hiring season, the plan was to train you up officially starting from your first day. Today. You were made aware of the schedule over text and email, Mel. There was no reason you couldn't have let us know you wouldn't be able to make it. But it's a Sunday today. Well, the industry we work in isn't as subject to the weekday-weekend cycle as most others, which means a good chunk of our departments run just like normal on Sundays. What? It just so happens that your department is one of the many that work weekends. This, in combination with the fact that you were made aware you were supposed to be here, means there's no excuse for your absence. My coworker, the guy in charge of providing the newbie training, just sent me a message. The training course for our midterm recruitment newbies starts today. Can you believe one of them didn't show up on her very first day? Geez, Kirsty, where do we find these people? I won't send what came after that, but needless to say, he is furious. I think I did get some kind of training schedule over mail. Wait, are you telling me that was actually the schedule? I thought the part where it said I was in today was a mistake. If you thought it was a mistake, why didn't you make an inquiry? Surely that would have been the reasonable thing to do in this situation. 'Cause who the hell works on a Sunday? I figured it must have meant Monday, so I just ignored it. I was ready to come in tomorrow. Would you mind bearing with me for a little while, Mel? Thanks. I just checked with my coworker, and it turns out your shift today most definitely wasn't a data entry mistake. Huh? How the hell would you know that? Because my boss received a copy of the same training schedule that was sent out to all the newbies, and he just showed it to me. Huh? There are about half a dozen newbies starting today, and a few of them are going to be assigned to my department, which means my boss has access to all of the relevant materials. Wait, what the... Hang on a sec. Your boss? I thought you seemed weirdly knowledgeable about the inner workings of the company. Hang on, are you... Yep, bingo. I take it the penny finally dropped then? I work as a full-time employee at the company you received a provisional offer at. Oh my God, are you serious? Don't get me wrong, I have absolutely nothing to do with HR. Which means I was astonished when I found out my little brother's soon-to-be wife just got assigned to my department. Anyway, we'll have to get this situation sorted out soon. What's it gonna be, Mel? What do you mean? Whether you go through with your wedding is, of course, entirely up to you. But you should know it'll mean going down on the system as an absence without notification on your first day of work, no less. Basically, it's going to mean you failed to attend the first day of your mandatory employee training course without good reason. And since the offer you received was provisional, is all but guaranteed to mean your chances of getting a full-time contract are pretty much zero. I won't fall for this. I know you're trying to trick me. Excuse me? Trick you? It's so obvious. I can read you like a book. This is clearly nothing but a huge crock of bullshit you cooked up in desperation to avoid the shame and embarrassment of admitting you got the venue for your own brother's wedding wrong. This is why you can't trust a high school dropout with anything. Oh, you're free to interpret this whole situation like that if it makes you feel better, but I think you're aware of how ridiculous the situation that I'd make something like this up is, Mel. No, it makes perfect sense. Anyway, this is your fault for not giving mine and your brother's wedding your blessing in the first place. If you would have just fulfilled your goddamn duty as his sister to begin with, none of this would be happening. How exactly do you work that one out? Your wedding and today's newbie training have nothing to do with each other. Even if I had gone to the wedding, you would have still been expected to be in today as long as you didn't inquire about your misunderstanding over which day it was on. So why won't you come to the wedding? You're the only family Kyle has left now that your parents are dead. Are you really gonna make me explain it to you? Yes, because none of this makes any frickin' sense. For real. Like, are you being serious right now? Whatever. You know what? It seems like you genuinely don't understand. Fine, it can't be helped. My brother Kyle was originally engaged to Michaela, your older sister, right? But you stole him from her by having an affair with him behind her back. So what? What's your point? Me and Kyle love each other, and that's all that matters. Who are you to try and stand in our way by dragging up the past like this? I'm not holding the fact you and my brother developed feelings for each other against you. It was the letting it develop into a full-blown affair while he was still engaged part that was despicable. Any decent human being would have waited until he'd broken off the engagement, or simply let go if he wasn't willing to. Huh? Naturally, I think you're despicable after demonstrating your absolute lack of virtue and moral fiber by tempting my brother into having an affair with you when you knew full well he was engaged to your sister. But I am also disgusted with my brother for meeting you halfway. If he has half a spine or a modicum of decency in him, he would have told you where to stick your seedy solicitations faster than you could say seedy two-bit whore. Which is why I was obviously never going to show up to the wedding, and to be honest, why I never want anything to do with either of you again for as long as I live. Besides, I already said all of this to Kyle. He knows I despise him and was never under any illusion I'd be at the wedding. So it genuinely baffles me that you didn't seem to get the message. Huh? You see, Kyle and I lost our parents in a traffic accident when I was still in high school. He was still in elementary school at the time, so I had no choice but to drop out so I could take care of him. I gave my everything to give him the best shot I possibly could at making something of his life. And how did he repay me? By coldly betraying your sister, one of the loveliest, most kind-hearted people I know, in the cruelest, most hurtful way possible. Huh? Anyway, Mel, it's time to make a decision. What's it going to be? Shall we go with an unpermitted absence from your first day at work and the beginning of your training course? Hello? Are you there? Why isn't there anybody here? Huh? I was messaging you in the bride's waiting room this whole time. I could hear some noise coming from the main hall around 20 minutes ago, but it was distracting me from our conversation, so I just locked the door and carried on talking to you. But I just got a message from Kyle saying nobody showed up to the wedding. Forget my friends, even my family and relatives didn't bother showing up. Where is everyone? Oh, I see. I wondered why you suddenly stopped replying. How would I know why no one showed up at your wedding? I didn't even know where it was being held or which day it was on, remember? But this makes no sense. There were supposed to be at least 30 people coming. And did you receive return letters confirming their attendance after sending out invites to all 30 of them? Of course I did. Like I'd forget something so simple. What the hell do you take me for? I see. Well, in that case, and this is just speculation, but is it possible they all agreed to cancel at the last minute behind your back? What? Why the heck would they do something like that? That's crazy! I won't say exactly who I heard this from. Let's just say it was a friend's brother's dog. But the word on the street is that you've always had a habit of stealing other women's boyfriends, and that you're not exactly the most popular girl in town, even among the people you call friends. Apparently everyone's been pretty cold towards Kyle since word got out he cheated on your sister with... Listen, Mel, I didn't come up with this. I'm just passing on the message, but apparently their nickname for you is the Town Whore. Oh my god, that's my nickname? And none of them showed up to my wedding? Ugh, this can't be happening. So yeah, I'm just speculating, but based on what I've heard, I'd say that's a pretty likely explanation for your current situation, wouldn't you? But I could always be wrong. There are other possibilities. So you really should get some confirmation before you go off and do anything rash. Oh my god, does everyone really hate me that much? This can't be happening. I was supposed to have a fairy tale wedding. About an hour after our last message, a woman in a wedding dress barged past security and sprinted up the stairs to our office as if she was possessed by some kind of demonic spirit. Needless to say, the police were called. The sight of Mel yelling, "I'm here for my training!" at the top of her lungs while being restrained by the slightly embarrassed security guard she blitzed past like a whirlwind only a minute before was one I'll never forget. It turned out my theory about the wedding guests plotting to cancel on Mel and my brother at the last minute was right on the mark. Apparently realizing they were no longer going to get any wedding gifts, they canceled the wedding and incurred a massive same-day cancellation fee. That, in combination with the compensation they both already owed Mel's older sister for the affair, must have been why Mel was so desperate not to lose her new job. She was so desperate, in fact, that she completely forgot to get changed and showed up at the office flailing around like an escaped mental patient in a wedding dress. Naturally, everyone at the company was mortified by the bizarre spectacle unfolding before their eyes, and she was fired right then and there. As for Kyle, he quit the same week, unable to bear now being the butt of every joke and the subject of every hushed conversation in the cafeteria. Last I hear, Mel and Kyle are currently spending their days in a cheap cockroach-infested apartment in the rough part of town while working like dogs to pay off their exorbitant debts.